Good morning, friends. I am back with yet another video on the concept of the ancient origins of stellar cults and the various evidences or proofs that are being gathered by people who are not from astrological community, which is slightly sad, but they are doing stellar work in this area. So I used the word stellar again. In this video I will not be using any pictures or any I am not be showing any videos. Probably at a later time I would do that. For now I would suggest you to also look at astrology from a very broad perspective, as to not just from the point of view of looking at a horoscope or the nakshatras and things like that, but also study the works of people from other areas, like for example Egyptologists, those people like Graham Hancock who have done extensive work in this area. You can watch those videos, and in fact his work inspired me almost 20 years back. I remember he had actually not only Graham Hancock's work, but you can also study Michael Tessarion, Michael Tsarion. He is a legend in his studies. And then we have Michael Tellinger, of course, of the Ubuntu and the South African community. He has also done some work on ancient civilizations. So their focus is not exactly on astrology or anything, but they have mentioned astrology in their works. Michael Tessarion, for example, has done extensive research on how the whole story, the biblical flood and all these things are actually matching to the ancient star systems. What Graham Hancock says is in his videos is that the Angkor Wat temple, the Egyptian pyramids, and some other architectures, some other pyramids which are lying on different parts of the world are actually pointing to star systems. And many of people have wondered why these star systems or the constellations actually represent animals in many cases. For example, Cancer represents the crab, or Aries represents the ram, or Taurus represents the bull. If you notice the pyramid of the Great Pyramid of Egypt, the Giza pyramid, it is bisected, or it is pointing into four directions, and these four cardinal directions are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio and Aquarius. And in fact these four constellations, Taurus, Leo, are again they are mapped to archangels or archangels. Archangel Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, and there's one more I forgot. So this is what actually has been the research of these people. And so no wonder we have to understand why the star systems are the way they are. They are just meaningless group of stars. If you want to create a horse, you can create a horse out of crab as well. I mean, you can join the dots in the crab constellation and make it a horse. So why horse or why crab? The reason is, in these ancient civilizations, some of these animals were either sacrificed, or they actually prayed to these animals, okay, or they prayed to humanoid beings who had heads of these animals, or they also considered some of these animals as vehicles of the deities. For example, if you take Indian astrology, many of these vehicles, for example Agni rides the Agni god, the god of fire, actually rides a ram, okay. And similarly Pashupatinath, Lord Shiva, he rides a bull. And similarly you have fish as Matsya avatar, and you have scorpion, which is actually it represents the the deep underground secrets which are below the this earth world, which is actually the various nether worlds. Because if you go to the nether worlds, which are the underworlds, you will find all these dangerous and poisonous animals or insects. Similarly, we have to understand why uh, you know the star systems keep actually changing. Now, one of my recent astonishing discoveries was that the star systems, the constellations which were hanging upside down, have suddenly become upright. Many people attribute this to Mandela effect. What I would say is this: is that we live in a holographic universe, and the data that the whole world is actually a digital world. What we think is a phone is a digital thing, and TV is digital, and we tend to ignore the fact that even we are digital. We are also made up of zeros and ones, because many famous physicists, theoretical physicists, and people from science background, they have said that when you actually dissect, or when you very go deep using the high powered microscopes, you can see that actually we are made up of atoms, and atoms are again made up of zeros and ones. So this has been established beyond doubt. So it clearly shows that we are digital, the world is digital, and we live in a digital holographic universe. And if you can go at the very deep level using some kind of a quantum computer, you can edit the data and you can change the data. For example, we were thinking, till say early 2000s, that, or maybe late 2000s, that we are living in a universe in which our sun is actually located at the edge of the Milky Way galaxy. However, recent photographs by NASA show that our sun is actually quite close to the galactic center. Now, how this astonishing feat has happened? Earth cannot be suddenly transported from the edge of the galaxy to the center of the galaxy. So it means that whatever we see about the galaxy is nothing but a digital copy which can be easily manipulated. So we live in a digital universe, and all the constellations that we see are not the true constellations, but the copy or the digital copy of the true constellations. In fact, most of the ancient civilizations, they attribute their origins to various constellations. For example, Orion constellation is from where the Betelgeuse star is there. From there, some people trace their origins there. For example, Aryan or Orion is one and the same thing. And similarly, many people trace their origin from Sirius star. There is a tribe called Dogon tribe in Mali, Africa, and in fact, they had told that the Sirius star system has 2 or 3 binary small stars revolving around the main star Sirius A, and they did not have any powerful telescope. And the people who investigated, the Englishmen who went to this country, they were astonished when they came to know that a tribe which is so remotely cut off from the world actually knows about Sirius star system. So how is this possible? So it clearly shows that most of the people who have come here, or rather all the people, souls who have come here, they have come from different parts of the real universe, which is above the 13 worlds of material universe. As you would know that we are actually living in a universe which is called the material universe. It has got 13 worlds, and these 13 worlds are Bhurloka or earth plane, then Bhuvaloka or the solar system, then we have the Swargaloka, which are stars, then we have the Maharloka, then Janaloka, then Tapoloka, and Satyaloka is where actually the true souls actually have come from. And then below our world we have, of course, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Patala. In fact, in your horoscope, if you open Jagannatha Hora and if you open D150 chart, and if you see the Amsas, some of the Amsa names are very strange. For example, I have Jupiter in Patalini, which clearly shows that my consciousness and my life force, the jiva of my life, it is Jupiter, and actually I am a Sagittarius ascendant, and my Jupiter is in the 5th house in Kritika Nakshatra. This actually is in D50 in Patalini. Patalini means that I have been to this worlds, Patal Loka, in some of my past lives, or maybe I am still connected to it through some kind of a connection. Okay, so all the people have visited all the worlds in some lifetime or other, and these worlds are actually all are holographic or digital worlds. They're all made up of zeros and ones. Once you go above the 13th world, which is called the 14th world or the Satyaloka, above which there are again many realms, there is no zeros and ones, there is no matter as such, there is only waves of consciousness. And that is why you can easily create anything in those worlds. Like for example, if you imagine a mountain, a mountain is immediately present in before you. Okay, and many of the divine beings or the devas as we call, originally as per Rig Veda, they were all praiseworthy, and they had done they were really extraordinary beings with extraordinary strength and light and power. But unfortunately, when they fell down to this realm, the fourth dimension realm, they started creating what is known as duality, the opposing things. Like for Deva, they created something called as Rakshasas or the Daityas. So which was not needed, but they created it, and because of which the evil entered into this universe. And that is why we see evil everywhere. Almost in all the worlds, there is some amount of evil. The most evil is of course on earth and of course the below neither worlds. But even in other worlds, as Yogananda Paramsa said in his autobiography of a yogi, chapter number 43, the many people think that there are no astral prisons or anything or like that, but it is false. Yes, Yogananda said even in the above worlds below the Satyalok there are astral prisons, and these astral prisons are something like cryogenic prisons in which souls are trapped. So whether you and I are trapped, we don't know, but most of the souls definitely are trapped there. So we need to study astrology not just from the perspective of the our digital cosmos, but actually the true cosmos from where we had actually originated from. So that is what we need to study, and I think that will take long time, because first of all you have to do meditation, you have to study different subjects, you have to go into unknown uncharted territories. I had gone to Patala Loka subconsciously and unearthed these secrets. I had to literally dig down deep inside the recess of my soul. I had, in fact, there were many days where I had wept, I had cried, and I wanted the answers. And finally, I found the answer that this world is holographic. So, those people who say this is flat earth or round earth or whatever it is, it doesn't really matter, because ultimately you are living in the world of zeros and ones. So, what you should do is you should study astrology only from that perspective as to what karmas you need to burn and what is that thing which is actually holding you back. And your true goal actually is to go back to Satyalok, and that is what the true purpose of every soul is. Thank you very much.